My first dog was a spaniel, a very attractive dog, and I learned a lot from him. And I learned a lot from other dogs that I've had in my life. Important things, life things, unconditional love, loyalty, don't chew on your wife's sandal. I don't have a dog now because, frankly, I don't want to leave a dog alive after I've died. They don't understand that. They just feel abandoned and sad. And probably they're going to wind up in the pound. And that gave me a thought. We have a no-kill shelter where I live in Franklin. And the dogs that are here are the ones that nobody wanted to adopt. The big dogs, the bully boys, the ones that are barely civilized, actually. They pull and they want to just run. And I can understand they want to pull because they live in a 4x4 box unless somebody takes them out, like me. And all dogs pull. Even a little Chihuahua can pull about 3 times his own weight. But these bully boys, they can pull thousands of pounds. In fact, there are competitions for people who breed these dogs and train them to pull a lot of weight. Example, this dog, which you would recognize as a pit bull, is pulling a sled filled with railroad rails, iron rails. I don't have to deal with dogs that are that strong or trained that way. But I do have to deal with dogs that want to pull. And I've got to tell you, the math doesn't work in my favor. The average dog that I take out from the pound weighs about 50 pounds, 80 pounds rather. And they can pull conservatively 5 times their own weight. That's 400 pounds of pulling force against my 135-pound resistance. The best that I can hope for is that I don't spend too much time in the dirt. I'm not going to beat them pulling, but I can outsmart them. I remember something from my college physics called the capstan theorem. A capstan is a cylindrical object that is immovable, and you can take the capstan and loop around it a rope, or in this case, a leash. This is how we can moor large boats without tying them up, just by using a capstan. It's also how people raise and lower sails, people rescue each other, mountain climbing. Well, my capstan when I'm walking a dog is a tree. And if this dog wants to get arguable and walk this way, all I have to do is take a step this way, and he'll loop his own leash around the tree. And no matter how hard he pulls, he can't move the tree. And eventually, he'll just sit down and say, okay, what's next? Well, what's next is I can have a reasonable walk with the dog. And also, he's taught me something that I can use in the rest of my life. Every Wednesday morning, I have breakfast with a bunch of guys, very varied backgrounds, great conversations, except once in a while, somebody decides, you know, I'd like to talk about politics. And when you talk about politics, for some reason, the gloves come off. And people don't want to have a conversation. They don't even want to argue. What they want to do is convince you that they're right and you're wrong. And it doesn't matter what flavor they are, they take that position. I don't want to have this kind of a relationship with a friend. So, again, I can remember what the dog told me. And that is, just don't argue. But if I put up my hands and say, I don't want to talk about this, essentially, isn't that playing into the argument? I'm much better off, rather than trying to control anything, to just, like I used to wait for the dog to get tired, I just eat my oatmeal. And eventually, I'll run out of oatmeal, and they'll run out of patience. The takeaway from this is I have learned how to walk a very strong dog. And I have learned how to have a wonderful time with a very strong friend. And all that I have to do to live peaceful, happy, and free is to remember one thing. I do not have to participate and accept any invitation that I get to an argument, whether it's from a dog or a friend.